William and Marie Gorgas arrived in style in London on May 29, 1920, on their way to yet another yellow fever expedition. They stayed in the posh Savoy Hotel on the Strand near Covent Gardens, where Gorgas had been feted in 1914 by the British Royal Medical Society. As chairman of the Rockefeller Foundation Yellow Fever Commission, he was traveling to West Africa to advise public health officials on the dreaded disease, stopping in London to consult with colleagues and friends on the way. The visit was to be a celebration. Among other events, Gorgas was scheduled to be decorated by King George V for his tropical disease work and his leadership of the U.S. Army Medical Department during World War I. On May 30th, however, in the middle of the night, he woke his wife to say that he had experienced a slight paralytic stroke and was rushed to the Queen Alexandra Military Hospital as a guest of the government. When it was clear he was too disabled to go to Buckingham Palace for the knighting ceremony, George V visited Gorgas's hospital room on June 8th to bestow on him the most distinguished order of St. Michael and St. George. While Marie was hopeful that William would recover, he suffered additional strokes and died on July 30th, 1920. King George again honored Gorgas with a funeral ceremony at St. Paul's Cathedral, usually reserved for general officers of the British Army. An Englishwoman, May Thomas, sat by herself in the cathedral during the service and wrote a poem of sorrow. She sent it to Marie, explaining that the moment brought back my own dark days of crushing grief, and my heart flew out in sympathy to you and your irreparable loss. The year before, Thomas had met William Gorgas in Panama just days after losing her young son to yellow fever. He had been so comforting to her that she now offered a poem of sorrow to his widow. Hers was one of dozens of condolences and tributes Marie received before she sailed back to the United States with her husband's coffin. Upon their return to Washington, Gorgas's casket lay in repose at the Church of Epiphany before his funeral and burial with high military honors in Arlington Cemetery. William Crawford Gorgas had lived a rich and exciting life of love and loss, adventure and achievement. At the time of his death in 1920, Gorgas was one of the most well-known physicians in the English-speaking world. But a century later, few Americans recognize his name. Born in 1854, his life was shaped by 3 wars: the Civil War, the Spanish-American-Cuban War, and World War I. As an Army medical officer, he participated in the transformation of medicine from a practice based on centuries-old humoral theory to one grounded in scientific germ theory, and carried the messages of modern sanitation and public health to regions around the world.